Greetings. I trust you're all well and staying safe. I'd like to share with you something that happens to me on a regular basis whenever people find out that I work for MTN. I get asked this question. So how do I do business with MTN? I try to answer as best as I can, but today's Smart Procurement has given me an opportunity to articulate that response in a well-structured manner, better than I think I've done previously. My name is Mwawi Phiri. I am the Senior Manager Procurement and Logistics at MTN Zambia. What will we be looking at today? I'll run you through the first slide, which will be basically the objective of the session, and it will cover who we are as MTN. It'll give you an insight into the principles that guide us in terms of how we engage our local suppliers in whichever country that we operate in. We'll give you an overview of the supplier management methodology that we follow once you're onboarded as a supplier. We'll also look at the basic requirements that it takes for you to be onboarded as a supplier. I'll run you through the key policies that govern us and also govern you as a partner. And finally, we shall look at how you actually become an MTN supplier. Key objectives. Who are we? Who is MTN? Who is MTN Zambia? You take away a little bit of knowledge when we also have some further reading in case this will only be a brief highlight. You also understand the principles that govern us, that guide us in terms of engaging with local suppliers. I'll show you the overview of our methodology of supplier management, how we manage you, how we collaborate together. We'll also make you aware of the key policies that you need to be aware of and abide by to live and breathe them as we do. And then the basic requirements that you need to register as a supplier. And finally, actually how the steps to become an MTN supplier. The content I'll be sharing with you comes from our global supply chain policy, which is an internal policy document that governs our operations as a procurement unit. About us, the MTN Group was launched in 1994. We're a multinational telecommunications group operating in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. We have a footprint of over 230 million subscribers. Our vision is to lead the delivery of a bold new digital world to our customers. And our purpose, our mission, the reason why we exist is to make our customers' lives a whole lot brighter. MTN Zambia was incorporated in 2005. We are the #1 telecommunication provider in Zambia, providing a whole range of voice, data, and digital services to our customers. You can read more about us at our group website, www.mtn.com, which also has a link to the Zambia website, www.mtn.zambia. Let's now get into the crux of the session. What are the principles that guide us in terms of engaging with local suppliers like yourselves who are tuned in? #1, as a group, we seek to support any local content and empowerment initiatives in any country that we operate in. So my task and any of my colleagues' tasks in any other countries to make sure we understand the local legislation and how do we ensure that we are aligned to it. We recognize that we play a key role in any community that we are in terms of developing it. And development is through our local suppliers. So here we are today showing you what you need to do as a local supplier to do business with us. We encourage the suppliers that we work with or want to work with or want to partner with us to be competitive. And when I say competitive, I don't mean just on price. You have to be competitive on a total cost of ownership basis. You basically are with MTN from the time you either give us a product or a service up until, if it's a product, we no longer need it, or if it's a service, we no longer need it. So it is not just a one-time engagement, but it's basically an engagement for the entire life cycle of that product or service that you're giving to us. We look at suppliers who have elements of service delivery, who are also aligned to our vision and also aligned to promoting the local value add and also aligned to the local empowerment initiatives in the country that we operate in. We also obviously, in the countries we operate in, may not necessarily have all the suppliers that we need to fulfill our needs. And therefore, we do engage and do have large multinationals, a large foreign supplier that we work with. And we find, and we do encourage those suppliers that if they don't have a local partner, we try and find and connect them to local partners, because when they leave, who are we left with but the local partner? So we do our best to find locally suitable partners, and we hope that one day you will be one of them, and we do have enough success stories to show you. Now, I talked about the supplier management. This is basically the structure, the methodology that we follow from the time we onboard you to the time we are working together to the time you get a contract, and how we manage that process. So step one is to obviously get onboarded through our online registration portal. This is called Oracle Fusion. As a supplier, you'll be required to complete a pre-qualification questionnaire. The details or the basic highlights of it will be shared in the next slide. Once you've completed that and submitted it, an internal team will do an evaluation to assess whether you meet our minimum requirements. And if you do qualify, then well and good, you become registered as an MTN supplier. We work together from a relationship perspective and collaboration. We'll give you our needs, you'll tell us what you can do, we share ideas, and we see how we can uncover value from whatever solutions you provide to us. In the event that you do get a contract with us, the next step in terms of contract management, and in there we also manage your performance and measure your performance in terms of how you performed against the key performance indicators in that particular contract. Now, as I said to you, the first stage is for you to be onboarded. The key requirements that you need to be onboarded as a supplier to MTN is to be legally registered as a company. So the legal registration in Zambia means that you have a certificate of incorporation from the Patents and Regulations entity, PACRA. Secondly, you need to be compliant. As MTN, we pride ourselves on being compliant with the local laws of the land, and therefore we expect our partners to do likewise. Key compliance areas would be tax. You must be tax compliant fully with our regulatory body. And if you have got any, if you're involved in any industry-specific requirements such as engineering, taxation, etc., you would need to obviously be registered with those regulatory bodies before we would actually engage with you. Like I said, we would like to be as much as compliant with all the laws of the land that we operate in. We also expect you to be relatively financially solvent. MTN should not become your single source of income if you are successful to do business with us. So we also expect you to comply with our supplier code of conduct, which can be accessed by clicking on the URL in this presentation, and is also available on the main MTN group website. Policies that you need to be aware of. As MTN, we believe that, and we encourage you to be informed, to be made aware, and to be the voice of what we believe in. And that is basically maintaining the highest ethical standards. The key policies that we expect you to abide by are the MTN Group Anti-Bribery and Corruption Policy, the Anti-Fraud and Zero Tolerance Policy, the Anti-Money Laundering Policy, and our Gift and Hospitality Policy as well. And again, I would emphasize, know and understand our supplier code of conduct. Well, we've reached at the point of the session where I now share with you, having gone through this, what you now need to do in terms of taking the next step. Number one, do you believe in our vision? If you do, hey, let's proceed to the next step. So there are two ways that you can get registered or onboarded to become a supplier to MTN. The first is you go to the URL or to the main MTN group website, where there's a section called Become a Supplier. So there you click there and you will basically submit your company and contact details and tell us what products or services that you know that you're able to offer to us. The other way that you can become onboarded is if through our market intelligence, through market research, we find out that you are a potential candidate or are able to provide us with a service or particular goods, you can be directly invited to be registered onto our Oracle Fusion platform. And you'd obviously have to have those basic requirements I referred to earlier on in this presentation and know our supplier code of conduct. I must hasten to add that registration does not automatically guarantee you business. You would have to be competitive in whatever request for proposals or quotations that we would ask you to participate in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to me. And I think at this time, if there are any questions, I am now available to ask those questions, and I'll hand over to the moderator to control and take charge. Thank you very much once again.